Hey guys, so this morning I'm hoping I can dedicate a decent bit of time to making some firewood today, getting on the processor later on, but I've got to go give a few landscape estimates here in a little bit. But I'm gonna bring y'all along with me here. I'm gonna go ahead and get one of my guys set up to be splitting down some more of this stove wood. So I've got several baskets of that made up, and I need to just rotate that into one of my dump trailers. I'm going to show you guys how I do that with the rotating forks, with those baskets full of those kind of short rounds and end cuts and things that we put into what we call our stove wood bin. So basically anything smaller than 16 inches in length goes into this bin, and we sell it to anyone that's got either a smaller firebox or a wood stove, or it works well in like the solo stoves or the brios, the smaller ones, if you've got one of the smaller ones to burn in your backyard. And it's also just a cheaper option for people to burn it, in a fire pit or something like that. So we like to utilize everything around here and turn it into a sellable product. So I'm going to be setting them up right in this area. Typically we set up right over here. We'll have a conveyor going in from the front right here, but there's just no room anymore with this wall built right here. There's no room to back the trailer into the splitter and all that kind of stuff. It's maybe hard to tell the elevation change right there, but there's good swell right there for our drain pipe, and there's a drain basin right in that area, so can't come right over that. So I'll be coming in from this angle. We'll put the conveyor right up over here. Another good reason I'm doing it this way is because I want this stuff in the front to be as dry as possible once we get around to selling it. So I'll be putting the greener stuff right here in the back on top of here. And this may be, I think I've probably got 5 or 6 crates worth over there. And another reason I'm doing it, I mean, I need to have work for one of my guys today, but I also need to empty those baskets because I'm gonna be like I've spoken about in previous videos, I'm gonna be running that tractor trailer load. I ended up not having to run the kiln. I ended up making that order a different way for that customer. I ended up just cutting our 16-inch wood in half for him, and he was okay with that instead of running separately. And it saved me time doing it that way, because I already had wood in an area where I could cut it in half easy enough, and so that's how we satisfied that order of that kiln dried that I was talking about in a previous video. So I don't have to run the kiln right now, so that's nice, because I've got kind of all my ducks in a row to do what I was talking about doing previously, trying to run that one tractor trailer load, which I did finally get a weight on, and I'll share that in the next video. I'm just gonna, this one will be just me setting up for this stove wood here, and then I'll be starting that next video and talking about how much that load of logs weighs, and it being all oak, which is not that common that I get in a 100% oak load like that. And then I'm going to be trying to run that load, and I'll get as much of that done as I can today. Hopefully I can get through most of the logs anyways. I've got a lot of other things on the list to do today, but I'll get as much of that done as I can, and then pump through the rest of it tomorrow. Tomorrow will be Friday. I should definitely be able to be done with that log load, that tractor trailer load tomorrow for sure. And then it'll probably be next week before I get it all crated up into those baskets, but I think I have plenty of baskets to do it with, especially once I empty all these stove wood baskets to get resplit. I think I've got 6 of them. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That one's just a partial. I don't want to have a partial basket of stove wood over there filled. I want complete empty baskets, so that when I do this test run, I want to be able to quantify everything that we get out of it. Everything that's sellable, whether it be stove wood or finished wood, and also trash. I want to see how much debris we get through the cleaner. I'm going to try to weigh the debris Of course, there'll be a little, I may even try to weigh the sawdust. I'll clean out the sawdust and try to weigh it as well. I want to know how much we yield out of it, usable product, sellable product, in relation to waste. And that'll be super beneficial for ourselves to know. And I'm gonna go ahead and just carry you over here. You know, that'll gain me 6 more baskets by emptying those stovewood baskets out. And then we've been emptying more baskets, you know, for racking out for delivery purposes and for customer pickup around here. We occasionally have some people, you know, just come pick up wood, and I know I've shown you guys this plenty of times, but there's a pile right there, and that's what we work out of. We take our most seasoned stuff out of the baskets and just rotate them right here, and then we'll just bucket that into truck beds whenever, you know, truck beds or trailers, whoever's coming to pick up. I mean, gosh, we'll load trunks, SUVs, it doesn't matter. So let's see. Yeah, I think there's, you know, 6 rows, right? 1 2 3 4 5 6, 2 high, and so there's 12 per row, and we've got 1 2 3 4 5 rows, so we've got 60 baskets right there, and I'll be gaining those other 6 as well today. So I'll have 66 baskets right here. I believe that should be plenty to crate up this whole tractor trailer load. I'll go ahead and share with you now, the tractor trailer load did weigh, it was a 35.01 ton load, so that's a good size load. That's kind of on the bigger end of what we typically get. So, you know, it'll be a good run, and it'll give us a good average of how many IBC totes per ton, how many cords we're getting on average per ton on an all oak load like that, and we'll also be able to know, you know, how much debris we got, and you know, waste product, you know, whether it be debris or sawdust. And you know, like I said, of course, there's going to be some debris that I'm not going to have. You know, there'll be a few 100 pounds that are just maybe under the processor, just bark and things like that. But it'll be a very good estimation, pretty darn accurate. So I'm looking forward to making that video. But I'm going to take you guys along this morning. That'll be a later video, but I'm going to take you guys along this morning to get all set up to be processing this, or splitting down this stove wood into our stove wood bin over there. All right, so I got the conveyor in place, and of course you can move this. We've got a little hitch, you know, that comes out that's got a 2-inch ball on it that can go right there. And but a lot of times when I move it around the yard, I just get forks and put up under it, and I mean, it moves pretty well like that. And so I got it set up here. I'm hoping nobody comes to pick up any pine bark mulch or asphalt millings today. I'll definitely be blocking these 2 bins, but those are pretty rare sales anyway, so I think we'll be all right, and hopefully we can get everything we need to split, and should settle right there. I think it's not going to go over these sides. If anything, we might lose a piece or 2, and we'll just throw it back in there. But I'm going to go ahead now and get the dump trailer, bring it over there to those baskets, and then I'm going to get the rotating fork set up, and go ahead and rotate those baskets into it, and then I'll get the splitter over here first. I'm going to use the Easton Made Ultra right here. It's definitely the safer machine to be working with some shortcuts like this, so versus something with an auto cycle. So we get that set up first, then I'll get the trailer and load it up with the stove. Alright, so I've got the trailer moved over here closer to these baskets. And of course, this is what I will always do is get it as close in proximity to what I'll be rotating in. So I'll just be taking those baskets right there with the rotating forks, dumping them into here, and then we'll go take it over there and back it up over there close to that splitter. That way we can lift it up, and all those rounds and splits will come to him. So I'll go grab the rotating forks, and we'll get to emptying some baskets. All right, guys, so we're all set up here this morning. We got all the rounds and splits. Some of these were I split down with the inverted splitter. As you can see, some of them were a little bit big, and they were sorted aside, and I've already busted those down. But all this stuff is shorter than 16 inches in length, so it's all going to go right here. So you can kind of see how I get set up with the dump trailer right there, Easton May right here. The operator will be on the other side, obviously, and we've got the conveyor going up into the bin, and we'll make quick work of that and move on to something else. But I just wanted to take y'all along for that process, show you how I get everything moved into place, and show you how those rotating forks work. I'll tell you what, those things are awesome. So if any of y'all are thinking about getting a set, feel free to message me, contact me in the comments, whatever, and I'll share any info I've got and any recommendations that I have as well. I'll have to look up the brand. I know it's just a set that we found on eBay. They're not cheap by any means, that's for sure. They're very expensive, but if you rotate a lot of baskets like we do, it's pretty much a must-have. So we used to flip them with forks for the longest time, and one day I'm going to show you guys the technique that I used to use that worked for us really well, filling these dump trailers. I could actually fill one of these dump trailers with baskets, emptying baskets into it all the way to the top. No problems at all with the skid steers that we have, of course, and without damaging baskets. So I'd love to show you guys that one day, and I definitely will do that in a future video, so be looking for that. But like I say, if any of you guys have any questions or anything, feel free to comment. and I'll answer anything I can on those rotating forks or any other questions you might have. So appreciate you guys watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.